You're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte, brought to you by the Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team, DP Lambert at Goose Insurance, and Stryker Roofing. And now your host, real estate broker, team leader, best-selling author, coach, consultant, and speaker, Todd Tramonte.
Welcome, folks. Welcome to Texas Real Estate. We've got a full studio today. We are excited to be together, live, appropriately distanced here in the studio. We'll be talking all things residential real estate across the great state of Texas today. We'll be taking your questions, but we will be talking about some of the craziness that is the residential real estate market right now. School is back, but what the heck does that mean? Is anyone actually going? Some people are, some people aren't. Some people are panicked. Some people cannot wait to get physically into school. So what's that doing to the real estate market? Is it good? Is it bad? Is now a nice time to sneak in and buy one? Is now a great time to sell one before fall hits? We'll be talking about those things as we make our way through the show. You can always send your questions to us at treradio.com. We've kind of simplified, got a little facelift on the website there. Good work from producer Mason. And we do have the full studio today. We've got the young MG, Mason Goss, producer extraordinaire of all things audio and video with a microphone. Welcome, Mason.
Back from vacation this week. I'm ready to go.
Little sun on the face, feeling fresh. You never know what he might say today. We'll check the mute button there.
You're looking great, Mason. Refreshed.
I'm tan. No, I got really sunburned. I didn't get tan.
We've got the English wonder, the Yanni Donnie, Ian Daniels, and we'll ask him the question that everybody wants me to ask him. Ian, how English are you feeling today?
English football updates. We went back to preseason training today, this week. So I'm feeling good. Englishy. Soccer season right around the corner.
Right.
Another year of disappointment coming up.
Very English thing to say there at the end.
That's
Another
true.
year of disappointment.
That's true.
So English. All right, folks, we'll take your questions. You can send them to us at treradio.com. That's short for Texas Real Estate. treradio.com. You can also find all of our recommended pros, our preferred vendors, and we are brought to you today, as with every week, by Patrick Glaros and his team over at Cardinal Financial, my go-to call, text, or email on all things residential mortgage. I saw a potential investment yesterday, jumped in the truck, went and took a look at it, and on the way sent my text to Patrick, hey, if this looked good, what are my options here? It is literally what I do every single time I have a residential real estate mortgage question. And a lot of times I probably know the answer. I do this all the time, but I defer to Patrick's expertise because he is the expert. The best team in the business at educating the client, the borrower, the buyer through the process of the loan, making sure they understand all their options and how that fits into their overall wealth building and financial picture. So we appreciate Patrick Glaros and his team. You should too. You can find him online at patrickglaros.com. That's Glaros, patrickglaros.com. Over the years, 15 plus years, we've probably done thousands of transactions together because that's who we trust, and you can too. patrickglaros.com, or you can find all of our recommended pros over at treradio.com. Now, we tell you all the time, every year, you should go check your property value at least 2 times. Once in the winter months, once in the summer months. In this crazy market, I believe you should be doing that every month. You can go to valuethishouse.com and figure that out in less than 1 minute. You can find out what your house would sell for or rent for. It also gives you a little confidence score. So if you don't feel really great about that number, you can just reply to the automatic email and say, hey, would you do a custom valuation? And we will have one of our local expert real estate property specialists do a custom valuation for you, call you, ask you 3, 4, 5 questions, get some real specifics, get you a value, and call you back and give you a full, breakdown of what your property's worth. Even if you don't have any interest in selling or buying or investing right now, we'd be happy to do that for you. You can figure all that out at valuethishouse.com. Now, we got plenty of questions that have already come in, but if you've got them, keep them coming. You can find me on social media just about anywhere at Todd Tramonte or at Todd Tramonte Realtors, pretty much anywhere on social media. Let's get into it.
This past week, for a large chunk of the Metroplex, there was a lot of wind and hail. And so I know there's a lot of people out there kind of scrambling to figure out, who do I call? What do I do? How bad is my damage? What's your advice to folks?
Well, first and foremost, check out strikerbuilds.com. Our good friends at Stryker Roofing and Construction. Stryker Builds, BUILDS, strikerbuilds.com. Now, the way you asked the question, let me clarify something. There's a lot of people that know you got hail, know you got really high wind, and know you got a lot of rain. And then there's a bunch of people, probably a lot more people, that aren't sure. What I got, was it bad? Was it normal? Should I have it checked? And here's how I would help you make that decision. If you haven't had a professional roofer on your roof in the last 18 months or so, I'd go ahead and call Stryker and ask them to go ahead and take a look at it. They can also do a weather report and tell you within about 100 feet whether your house had certain size hail, certain speed of wind, certain amount of rain, and they can tell you, you're probably fine. There's probably no need for us to come out. Or, we probably ought to come out and take a look at that for you. Or, of course, wow, you definitely, you got some damage. You're probably going to have a claim. They also own an insurance company, so they absolutely understand where's the line between should I file a claim, should I not file a claim? Is this just repairs or is it replacement? I've never seen a more expert-oriented group of roofing folks than I have at Stryker Roofing. You can call them 844-243-ROOF, 844-243-ROOF, or you can always find them online at Stryker Builds, BUILDS, strikerbuilds.com. That's what I would do. Now, to answer that question more thoroughly, every spring hail's a thing in Dallas. Then most summers we get a little bit, right? Depending on where you live, hail is not something to mess around with. Now, it's also not something that means, oh gosh, we have to fix the car and replace the roof. But outside of having a trusted roofer tell you that, there's nobody else I trust in the process. And that doesn't mean that, I don't trust anyone, but the insurance people at times can be biased. Your neighbor thinks they know everything, but they don't. You've been through this before, but this time it was different. Just call Stryker and have them come out and take a look at the roof. That's the easiest thing to do. They will tell you should you or should you not then have an insurance company come out. Now, look, if you already have a roofer you love, they've done a great job for you and you trust them, whatever, call them. That's fine. But have a trusted roofer get up there first. And if you don't have someone you love, head over to strikerbuilds.com.
Follow up from all the storms as well. This is a question that came directly from one of our clients. And they just said, hey, we've got some water that seems to be coming up between the slab and the brick. Mm-hmm. What does that potentially mean? And what the heck do I do?
Yeah, it could mean a few things. It's the most dramatic would be a slab leak, that you have some plumbing oriented problem pushing water up between there. Chances are it's related to wind and rain and storms, and wind is the factor there, where normally you wouldn't see that rain make its way between the brick and the house, but heavy wind can push water through weep holes or through some weak points that honestly are very rarely ever going to be an issue. But that high wind moves water where it normally wouldn't be moved. So, it would never hurt to have a skilled plumber look at that just to make sure you don't have a really bad plumbing slab leak. Unfortunately, we had a client this week who had one of the worst ones I've ever seen or heard of. And it just stinks. It just, there's not much you can do about it other than pay to fix it. But you want to eliminate that as the problem. Then that same roofer or a really great agent or home inspector type person might be able to tell you, look, kind of tracking this back, it looks like this came through a weep hole or some space between the window and the, that thing. It's a minor fix or whatever. But, I'd start by eliminating the slab leak issue and then move towards, that might be just kind of a fluke rain event, wind event that you might not need to do anything, or it might be a little silicone sealant or something really simple.
That's great. We had a question this week where I think there's a little bit of confusion around it really. And it was, is it helpful for a listing agent, so the person selling the house, the agent selling the house, or the actual seller, to be present during home buyers showings?
No.
Thank you.
Let's expand on that a little bit. Let me answer your question with a question that is hypothetical because everyone can answer this themselves.
Go for it.
If I'm a buyer and I want to come see your house.
Okay.
Am I more comfortable or less comfortable if you're standing there by me the whole time?
I'm going to say I would feel a lot less comfortable.
Right. Everyone would, right? I want to say to my wife and my real estate agent, this kitchen is weird. Does something feel weird about this kitchen? I don't hate it, but like, what is it about this kitchen that doesn't feel right? I want the comfort level to say that as I'm evaluating, do I want to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars for it? But if you're standing there with me telling me, oh, this granite is wonderful. We put it in 87. It's brand new. This tile is amazing. We imported it from Mexico. These cabinets are great. We put designer paint on it. I'm like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Let me make my own. Quit trying to sell. Like, I like it less because of you. Right? That is, trust me, like 95+% of the time, that's what a buyer is thinking or feeling when the seller or their agent stays at the house.
Well, because if they say something negative, then the other person is going to immediately go into a defensive nature, right? And begin trying to justify why a house is a certain way.
Or they're offended by it, and then it eventually affects your negotiation down the road. A buyer, I know this is challenging because you've kind of got to leave your home and let a buyer be there and trust them there, but you're also hoping you can trust them to pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions for your house. So you've got to extend that courtesy of letting someone be mentally free enough to fall in love with your home. Now, real quick point, a lot of people assume that this changes when you get over kind of $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 million point where it's much more common, and it is. Now, there's a way to do that well. Typically, those are larger homes, 4,000 or 5,000 square feet and larger. In that scenario, I still would prefer that the seller or their agent not be present. But if they feel the need to be present, it was better done like this. Hey, Ian, super excited to have you guys here to tour our home or to tour my client's home. I will be here. I'll be in the study. I'll leave you alone. I'll close the door. I won't be able to hear you. You can't even say what you want, feel what you would do, look around. But if you have a question, because there's some really unique aspects to the property, I'll be in here. But I've gone ahead and printed this binder to give you answers to a lot of the questions you could have, or this pamphlet or this brochure or this video. Here it is. Feel free to take that with you. I'll lock up and turn all the lights off for you when you leave. If you want to see the study, let me know. I'll step out into the backyard, right? That's still not as desirable as you can go. The one solution to this is telling an agent, would you be able to show up 20 minutes early so I can show you a few things so you'll show up really well? Then I'll get out of your hair and let you lead the showing. So I believe scientifically, philosophically, mathematically, and logically, that's the best way to go. I think the reason people do it the other way is because of tradition, the way things have always been done, and because they don't trust people, A, in their home, or B, to accentuate all the features well. And I think those challenges can be overcome without having to sit there and make people feel awkward.
Yeah, that's great. If you haven't checked your home valuation recently, go to valuethishouse.com. Go right now, valuethishouse.com. Get your home valuation in less than 1 minute. I'm going to send you some information on what the valuation is and what it would rent for, and a confidence rating. And if you want something a little bit more detailed, just reply to that email, and we will reach out to you and get you something more custom. Valuethishouse.com. Kids went back to school kind of over the last week or two, depending on whereabouts you live. What impact have you seen that have in the housing market kind of over these middle couple of weeks of August here?
So I'll tell you this based on our team's production, and our team does 10 times what the average agent does in Texas. And I only say that just to give, we get a pretty good read on the market. We do, we have enough business coming and going every day to have a real finger on the pulse of the market. And the last 2 weeks have been very good for our team, but we have noticed that the last 2 weekends haven't been quite as rambunctious as the previous 15 weekends were. And we saw this coming. We've been talking about it on the radio show for a month now. Back to school every year, we see the overall activity in our market drop by as much as 30 or 40%. Now, that doesn't mean the market value drops. That just means people are less interested in buying and selling. They're a little bit more focused on that one last vacation, on getting schools ready. And this year, of course, back to school has just been completely nuts.
So challenging.
No one really knows what it means. Are we going to make it back to the classroom? Are we going to go from home? Are we home for 3 or 4 weeks and then to the classroom? Are we going to get sick? Is someone else going to get sick? Do we need laptops? Do we need headphones? Do we need cameras? Do we need desks? Do we need chairs? Where are we going to put the kids? So are we all working and doing school from the same environment? Do we need help? So it's a different kind of back to school, experience, but it's the same back to school busyness, distraction, uncertainty, concern. And so I thought it might be more than normal, and I still think it's going to last longer than normal, but it's about the same impact on the real estate market as normal. And what I mean by that is people are definitely still buying and selling homes. Homes are still selling at record-breaking prices if they are marketed well. And buyers are still competing. But here's what's changed about that. I believe buyers have a better opportunity right now than they did a month ago. And I think buyers have a better opportunity right now than they will in another 3 or 4 weeks. So this is a window of opportunity for buyers. And I think sellers still have a great opportunity, but they're seeing slightly less competition on those homes because buyer activity has been checked a little bit. Now, if we wait a couple of weeks, we're going to see that sellers had slightly less competition from other sellers, so that might balance back out. But again, this is a unique window of opportunity for buyers. My guess is this will be the best time to buy until December. So if you're wanting to buy soon, the next 2 or 3 weeks is going to be your best bet until December. If you're wanting to do that, you need to sit down and talk with an agent before you go out and fall in love with a house. You can go online to overunderagent.com. One of our Todd Tramonte home selling team agents can schedule a time virtually or in person to spend about an hour with you, understanding your needs and getting a game plan and a buyer strategy together for you. We can walk you through a unique plan we have for buyers to save you money and protect you from overpaying because of competition and save you on drama and frustration and help you win in multiple offer situations. So if you're thinking about buying soon, go to overunderagent.com and we can try to help you capitalize on this unique window of opportunity. Now, there's also big opportunity right now for sellers as other sellers are not putting their house on the market right now and you have less competition. We can take advantage of both sides of the market right now if we have the right strategy. So same thing goes for you. If you're thinking about selling right now and you're ready, we can get you on the market in the next 2 or 3 weeks and we can break an all-time record price for you. You can contact the Todd Tramonte home selling team at overunderagent.com as well, because we do guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. Would love to connect with you and tell you hundreds of success stories about how we've helped people do that. By the way, if you want to read some of those success stories, just Google Todd Tramonte or Todd Tramonte home selling team, and there's hundreds of Google reviews talking about, people's skepticism and then their happiness with our process and our team members and all that good stuff. So just look it up. Google Todd Tramonte or Todd Tramonte home selling team. Check those reviews. But if you'll go to overunderagent.com, I'll connect you with one of our amazing team members, sit down, go through a strategy session with you, and help you capitalize on that opportunity in the next few weeks.
It's great. I love a good tease, right, Todd? So later on in the show, we are going to talk a little bit more about what the opportunity is for buyers right now. And we have 2 incredible stories to share with you from this past week where we saved a buyer tens of thousands of dollars and made a seller, I can't even say it right now. It's an unbelievable amount of money.
A ton.
And we'll talk about it later on.
And you shouldn't be able to do that in this market. That's what's exciting.
It's crazy.
Like mathematically, that should not happen in this market for either the buyer or the seller. So we'll tell those stories a little bit later.
We'll tell them later on. We've got a really exciting thing coming up this week with a bunch of our clients that I thought would be really fun to share with the radio audience so they can get a little kind of behind the scenes glimpse into some of the ways that we treat and look after all of our clients, past and present and potentially future.
But you're going to make them all jealous, though.
It's part of the tease.
Just to be clear, if you're upset about what I'm about to say, it was Ian's idea to share this. If you're excited about it, head over to overunderagent.com, become a client, an advocate, or a friend of the team, and then you're in.
And if you have a complaint about what we're about to talk about, Mason at toddtramonte.com is where you go.
Yeah, so about 4 times a year, we gather together with our current past clients, our friends, our referral partners, and we just have a good time. That's the whole goal, is to see each other, spend time together, have some fun. I pay the bill on all these deals, and we have a great time. So back to school every year, whether you are in school or have kids in school or not, doesn't matter.
Back to virtual school.
It's a good excuse to celebrate. We do a big kind of sweet treat party. For our Richardson office, we do an ice cream event, and we do it over at Sweet Firefly in Richardson, which is one of my favorite ice cream shops in the history of the world. The owners are wonderful people. They live right there in the neighborhood.
It's my wife's favorite cinnamon ice cream.
It's my favorite sea salt caramel, and my wife's favorite 9 different flavors. And she's an ice cream connoisseur, and she loves Sweet Firefly in Richardson. So free plug there. But we just invite all of our clients, and we tell them for this event, we tell them, hey, bring a friend, bring a neighbor. We just want to, normally I would say we want to high five and hug you, but we won't be doing that this year. We might elbow bump or wave from a short distance with masks on. We will pull those masks down, though, and eat delicious ice cream at an appropriate distance in the shade. And then for our Fort Worth office, we're doing some incredible shaved ice for our clients over there, where they'll stop by and get a really, really delicious sweet treat over there. Same thing. We just want to get together, connect. When we help someone buy or sell a house, we hate the term closing, because, traditionally you go to the title company in Texas, and that's called closing. You close out the file, right? You close out, someone brings some money, someone gets some money, someone brings some keys, someone gets some keys, then someone gets commission checks, the taxes get paid, the transfer, the deed gets transferred, wipe your hands and walk away from the file. But we hate the term closing, because the relationship is not over. In a lot of ways, the relationship has just begun. And for us, this is where the good stuff starts, right? The somewhat stressful, financial decision-making stuff is kind of over. And now we can invest in a friendship. We can invest in making sure you enjoy your home, and that it's a wonderful place for your marriage, your family, your health, your safety, your security, your rest, and all those things. So we don't go away when someone buys or sells a home with us. We dig in, right? And it's like, hey, we have this whole raving fan club. Would you like to borrow the pressure washer, the ladder, the tree trimmers, the pop-up tent, the barbecue pit, all these things we have. Can we help you with free notary service? Would you like to use the meeting space at our office? All these things. And then it's like, hey, we want to hang out with you. So do you want to come to our minor league baseball event? Do you want to come to the fall festival? Do you want to come to the ice cream event? Do you want to come to the pie event? We do 3 or 4 every year. And back to school is just the excuse, but that's what we're doing. That's what Ian was bringing up. So if you're listening and you are a past client or a referral partner, make sure you're checking your email and your text this week, because all the details are there. And if you didn't get it, just call the office. We'll be happy to give you.
Well, maybe one day we'll share a little bit more of the story, but it was at one of those events almost 5 years ago that, we ended up having a conversation, and I ended up joining the team shortly after. So... Right. It's a good thing.
Because you were a past client.
Right.
That's why you were there. Yeah. Super, super exciting. So we really do love that aspect of the business. Of course, we want you to head over to overunderagent.com, sign up, become a client. We'd love to earn your business. We'd love for you to be one of our success stories, our crazy record-breaking success stories that we tell the world about. But more than that, we'd love to connect with you on a friendship level and add value for you and your home for years and years and years. Head over to overunderagent.com, because we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time, plus thousands of savings for buyers. Overunderagent.com. We'll be right back with more Texas Real Estate on WBAP.
Welcome back to Texas Real Estate with your host, real estate expert, team leader, and best-selling author, Todd Tramonte.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to Texas Real Estate. This segment is brought to you by our good buddy DP Lambert at Goosehead Insurance. If you need any of your home and auto, or really any insurance taken care of, you need to reach out to DP Lambert, 214-838-5684, 214-838-5684. 5684, or you can always just go to treradio.com and find all of our recommended pros. DP saved me a bunch of money and increased my coverage. You've heard Ian talk about that as well, and a bunch of our team members and tons and tons and tons of our clients. He's just one of those guys that's easy to work with. You know, like, to be honest, the process of switching your insurance can be annoying, and he just makes it easy.
I talked to him this week. It was time for us to do our renewals. I said to him, hey, man, you on it? And he said, I am on it. And 2 hours later, he gives me a call and got me another great deal on my renewals.
Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it. And he can shop your insurance to like 15 different insurance carriers, but he can be your insurance expert, your go-to guy for the next 20, 30 years. I mean, we've referred hundreds of people to him in the last couple of years, and he's done such a good job for almost all of them. So DP Lambert, you can email him, dp.lambert@goosehead.com or 214-838-5684. I know your questions are coming in. We'll take them as they come, but don't forget, check out your property value in under 1 minute at valuethishouse.com. Valuethishouse.com.
I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of agents in Texas. In fact, there's a lot of agents all over the country, and everybody seems to know about 15 of them, maybe more. But the question is, why are there so many agents?
It's actually a very good question. I'm going to answer it with as little cynicism as I can possibly muster, but I don't believe I have enough self-control to answer this question without any cynicism.
I'm a betting man, Todd, for fun purposes only, and I would say that that's not going to happen.
The odds are not good in favor of me answering this without a little bit of snarkiness. And the reason is it's pretty easy to get a real estate license. That's the nicest way I can say that. Now, listen, there are aspects of it that are challenging and difficult. You know, you've got to take a pretty big test. It costs you some money. But my philosophy, my belief, my absolute, campaign, crusade I've been on for the better part of a decade and a half, if not longer, is to allow the consumer, allow home buyers and sellers and homeowners to be able to have at their availability real estate professionals who belong in the same conversation as tax and accounting professionals, healthcare professionals, legal professionals. But our industry has not earned that positioning. Our industry has not earned that trust and that authority. Our industry, because it is so much easier to get a real estate license. You don't have to go to law school, medical school, get a master's degree in accounting. You're not studying for that exam for a year. You're studying for it for a month or two. Therefore, the barrier to entry is lower, but the barrier to success is still very, very high. So there's a lot of real estate agents, and unfortunately, a lot of agents look at this as a career, as a backup career, as a secondary career, a fallback, right? Now, there's a lot of people that have done that and done well and who are good agents. But most agents are that's just the way it is. There's almost 2 million people with a real estate sales license in North America. We've done the math on the show before. That's like 1% of all working adults, if not more.
Which is pretty insane.
That's totally bizarre and nuts and ridiculous. So that's why everyone knows 15 or more real estate agents. And that's why it's unfortunately puts the buyer, seller, investor in a weird spot, because to choose one of those agents means you're not choosing 12 or 13 other friends, cousins, or neighbors, right? It's my goal that people would begin to look at the real estate agent like I do, not just because I do, but because I think it's a better way, and like they would look at an attorney or an accountant, right? You might have 4 attorney friends, but one of them does wills and estates, one of them does contracts, one of them does civil, one of them does, criminal. And so it's not like, oh, attorney, I have to go to you because you're my friend that's the attorney. No, you're a criminal attorney. You didn't even think I would consider you for my, wills and estates issue. No one would think you do that. But in real estate, people just assume everyone does everything and everyone's starving for a commission, and you would do your friend a favor by hiring them. And I'm so fed up by that if you're a real estate agent and you're listening, I really hope you're not I hope you're not offended by that. But if you are, I'll live with that. My hope, though, is that you're motivated by that, to be better, to be more of an expert, to deliver so much value to your friends, your family, and your neighbors that they would think, well, I know like 12 people that are agents, but my friend Todd is the only one that's full-time, fully dedicated, committed expert that is like really, really getting after it. And it's so obvious I don't feel guilty, right? That's the goal. But the short answer to the question, why are there so many agents, is it's fairly simple to get a real estate license. And it's fairly simple to keep a real estate license. And just having the license is in no way a sign or a symbol of expertise, of success, of experience. It's just a sign that somebody did some online continuing education and kept paying the fees. And again, I'm not saying that to embarrass or attack any one individual person or any one company, but as an industry, we have got to do better. That's why that's one of the reasons we've built our brokerage. We've built our team. We've built a coaching and consulting company. It's the reason I've written some books. It's the reason I travel and speak sometimes, because my hope is that we could move the industry in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is you cannot be an expert in absolutely everything, right? Which is why on our team, our agents specialize in one side of the transaction. They're either a home buyer specialist, where every day they are training, learning, working on how to be better at serving their home buyer clients, or they're a marketing specialist, or what most people would traditionally call a listing agent, where they are every single day training, learning, and getting better at how to market, how to work with home sellers so that they can net the most money at the end of the day. We don't want each of our agents to be doing both sides of the transaction. We want a client that is buying and selling a house to have two experts that can come alongside them and lead them in the things that they're gifted at, because it's a very different skill set.
So different.
And we want to make sure that every single one of our clients gets the absolute best. So, yeah.
There's so much in there too. I mean, not only do they only work with a buyer or seller, they typically work a geography as well, which is why years ago we opened a Fort Worth office, right? Because yes, our Dallas agents would drive over there, but are they experts over there? It depends. Some of them are. Some of them have a lot of history there, but some of them aren't. So we do want the more traditional localized expertise, but that's a lot easier to overcome with research than dedicated client, transactional, specialized knowledge and expertise. So, we just have a different view of the industry than the industry as a whole. And by the way, I will not hesitate on this. I will not hold back. All those commercials you see from the National Association or the State Association or the local association, they're good and fine and dandy. And at some level, they provide some value, but they don't do anything. They don't do anything to point to what we just talked about, to point to delivering world-class value. They are bigger fans of more agents than they are of better agents.
Yeah, and to add on just a little bit more too, it's why the team is built out the way it's built out, right? Because, our marketing specialists, our home buyer specialists, they would acknowledge, hey, I got some flaws in me, right? There's areas that I need to have help with too. So we've got Elizabeth on the team and Mason and Robert and whatever the heck I do on a day-to-day basis. But, that's why the team is built out in the way it is, so that ultimately we can deliver that world-class service.
Well, and if you looked at it from the outside in, it would look more like a law firm or a CPA firm or a medical office than just a jack of all trades trying to be an expert at 47 things. So long answer to a short question, but it's a question that gets asked a lot. We just don't always answer it. But why are there so many agents? There shouldn't be. There should not be that many agents. The industry and the consumer would be way better off if there were fewer agents with deeper, higher levels of commitment and expertise.
ValueThisHouse.com is where you're going to go to get your home valuation in less than 1 minute. You can plug in your address. You will get sent an email, and it's going to give you what the mid, the high, and the low range is, and what it would rent for. ValueThisHouse.com. Less than 1 minute.
You're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte. We've got a full studio here, and we're taking your questions today. All week, every week, I work with some of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life at the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team. If you're thinking about buying a home or selling a home in 2020 or beyond, I want you to go online right now. You can use your phone. You can use your laptop, desktop, tablet, wherever you are. Just head over to overunderagent.com. fill out your basic information, and then in that little comments box, just tell us what your goals are. Hey, I'd like to buy a home in 2021. Hey, we'd like to sell our home and downsize. We'd like to sell and upgrade. We'd like to sell and build this fall, this winter. You might say, hey, my kids are sophomores in college. When they graduate, we want to buy some land and build a home, right? It's okay. Go ahead and tell us now, and we can start just trickling out some information, pointing you towards some resources. We are not in a hurry. We're going to sell a couple of hundred houses this year, and we're confident in that, so we don't need to pressure you. But we would like to connect with you now and begin to give you valuable tools and resources and sort of nurture this process for you so that whenever you're ready to buy or sell or invest, you feel the maximum level of confidence and comfort, that you feel like you've had a plan, you've followed your plan, and that you can move you, your family, and your finances forward with absolute comfort and confidence and really, I would say joy is the word I'm looking for. So head over to overunderagent.com, and you can, in the comments, you can say, hey, we're a year out, we're in a huge hurry, we're totally confused, we don't know what to do. All of those things are okay. But if you're thinking that at some point you'd like to do something, and that we at the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team might be a good resource for you, just go ahead and check in with us now and let us know how we might be able to start sending you some videos, maybe a book, maybe scheduling a quick phone call, a Zoom interaction. Maybe you come by the office. Maybe we come check out your house and give you some advice on recommendations for improvements or remodel or repairs or vendor recommendations, anything. It is our goal to add value in your life as often as we can. We believe that if we do that well, when the day comes, whether it's next week, next month, next year, next decade, that when you are going to buy or sell or invest, we'll have a pretty good shot at earning your business. And we're happy to take that risk to add value now and do business later. So head over to overunderagent.com. If you're buying or selling or investing, that's okay. Go to overunderagent.com. Put in your basic info, and then in that comment section, you can write as little or as much as you'd like about your goals, your fears, your questions, your situation, and we will do everything we can to give a lot of value fast or a little value over a long period of time and get you ready for whatever your heart's desire is when it comes to real estate. We would love to do that for you. We would love to add value. Go to overunderagent.com, or you can always call us 214-310-0008. That's at the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team. Or you can always text us 214-310-0008. You can just save that phone number in your cell phone. Put my name, Todd Tramonte, or Todd Broker, Todd Tramonte Team, whatever you like. And anytime you have a real estate need, you can call or text 214-310-0008 or go to overunderagent.com for the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team.
I'm so glad you just said all that, because a lot of times one of our agents is going to reach out to whoever it is that signs up and gives us their info and asks for some help. But I'm going to call a lot of those people too, and it's so much fun, especially when they've been listening to the radio, to just have that conversation. So it's really fun to do.
The number of people each week that are like, "You're that Ian," is really, really funny.
Right, that guy. Yeah. Completely hypothetical question here, Todd. Okay. Yard of the month. That's yard of the month.
There it is.
First place. If you were to win that,
theoretically,
completely hypothetical, how does that increase your home value? Again, completely hypothetical. It's first place winner.
Not saying that Ian won Yard of the Month recently at his home. We're not saying that. But if that had been the case, Ian, I would say the award itself will add, if I were going to give a percentage to it of how much percentage increase in your property value.
Yep, ready.
It would be somewhere between 0 and probably 0, which is an exciting range. But the bigger point to actually make here is landscaping does matter. You know,
that's where I was going.
A good looking front yard really can increase your property value 1 or 2%. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, you have a $300,000 or $400,000 house, $3,000 or $4,000 is real money. So all jokes aside, the front yard for the purpose of selling the home is more important than the backyard, because it's the first impression.
So I was going to say, we had a new neighbor just move in across the street from us, and he sent me a text message the day after the hypothetical sign went in the front yard, and just said, "Oh man, way to challenge the rest of us on the street." So now I'm like expecting all these other houses to come on, join in.
Yeah, maybe you guys can collectively win block of the month. But
man,
I will say we were being a little silly with that, but it does matter. And I've always said, and we've got a lot of videos on our YouTube channel, tthst.tv. About low-cost ways to increase your property value. And landscaping, landscape lighting, landscape decor is one of those things that it's when you think about selling your home, you spend $200 or $300 in the front yard on some mulch and colorful flowers, and it can really, really help. But the bigger point to make here is ways to get extra money in your pocket. And we've had some unbelievable stuff happen lately in our market. Now, of course, we've got examples from our team because we see it every day, but David on our team on the buy side. And I want to point this one out because logically speaking, mathematically speaking, there is no reason that a buyer should get a good deal in this market right now.
Well, and we've been asked the question right now too, just to kind of point into a quick question is like, hey, should I be waiting until the beginning of next year? Because it just doesn't feel like, I know interest rates are low and all that, but it really doesn't feel like I'm going to be able to get a good deal.
Let me answer that question real quick and then have you tell a little bit more of this story of just insanity, right? So the answer to the question, should I wait as a buyer because prices are rising so fast? Should I wait? No, you should not wait unless you and your family and your finances are not ready to buy. But if you're ready to buy, you shouldn't wait because home values are rising. Every legitimate, trustworthy economic indicator says they're going to continue to rise. Jobs, land development, builder pacing, job supply here, economic, availability, interest rates, home values are going to keep going up. So the longer you wait, the more that home is going to cost. And that should be happening for the foreseeable future, meaning 1, 2, 3 years plus. Now, things can change, but there's no logical reason to expect them to. Now, knowing that home values are going up every day, how in the world is David Goss, buyer specialist on our team, helping people buy homes that are really attractive, competitive homes for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 below market value? How is that happening?
Smoke and mirrors, Todd. Smoke and mirrors.
Magic wand.
Now, this was actually a story. Look, David's an incredible negotiator, right? Yep. David is one of the guys on our team that will follow up with somebody just so well. And I don't even necessarily mean just the client. Yep. In this particular case, this was a home that was under contract. And it was a home that he knew that his clients really, really wanted. They had a very small kind of window of homes they were looking at. And David created a relationship with the agent that was selling to where he was like, look, if this falls through, and he would call them every day. Yep. Just know we're here for you. We'll put in a backup offer. We'll do whatever we can do. But I want you to know that we still really want this home, right? Yep. The house fell out of contract. And so David was there with his clients to pick up the pieces and come in as the hero on, the white knight on the horse, right? And so this was a home that was listed right around $450,000. And David actually got it.
Time out. $450,000 in a market where this type of home in this area usually don't even make it to market. Right. They sell instantaneously for sometimes 10 to 15% over asking.
Well, it went into contract immediately, right, which is why David came back in. So yeah, multiple offers on the home. Well, David ended up getting it for $10,000 under the asking price. $10,000 under the asking price with a really substantial seller credit going back to the buyer as well. I mean, it
almost
made it
another $10,000.
Yeah, I mean, it made it almost $20,000 in savings for our buyer.
Yeah, and if you were being a little bit more liberal with that calculation, which we want, we're always conservative with our numbers. So if we're bragging on a deal, it was probably even better. But if you were to say that normally in that market, in this market, in that neighborhood, that home would have probably sold for 5 or 10% over asking or more, then that gap starts to be even bigger, right? It's like they save probably 20, but they probably normally would have spent an extra 20. So they probably saved 40. And I actually visited this house. I know these clients and spent some time over there. It's incredible. It is a one-of-a-kind property. You don't buy one-of-a-kind properties in this market, in that area, under value. You just don't do it. And that's a testament to David and some of our team systems and structure and follow-up. David is a master of helping our buyers buy homes that are otherwise simply not available to them, not publicly on the market, otherwise literally you wouldn't even ask about. So good. Such a big deal. But it's happening on the sell side at least as much, if not way more. And there's an incredible Jeremy experience, one of his clients this week. By the way, we brag on our agents because we don't want to tell you our clients' information too much on radio. But Go ahead and tell them this one.
Yes, but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
So Jeremy had a property, a beautiful lakefront property. Look, both of these examples today are in the 400s. Look, we've worked with clients from all sorts of price ranges, right? We're not just working in the 400s. These are just two examples. Lakefront property, the comps, quote comps, put it somewhere around 400 to 425, and our clients would have been absolutely thrilled. And I mean thrilled.
That's what they said.
At 425. This is, words from their mouths. How does 450 sound?
Can I get 450? Can I get 440? Can I get 450?
I'll give you 475, Todd, in one day. 475 in one day. This is actually a referral from another client that we double-sided, so we helped them both buy and sell. They had an amazing transaction with Jeremy as well. But this particular one, that's $50,000 more than what they were hoping for.
And this is where I have a hard time, in person or radio or video or television or whatever we're doing, helping people grasp that, right? And so I always kind of say the same thing. If you were walking to your car today and you found on the ground a briefcase filled with cash, $50,000 inside, first of all, you'd probably freak out. Maybe you would hide it. Maybe you'd call the cops. But let's say you called the cops, right? And the police are like, nope, that's your money. Totally legal. It doesn't belong to anybody else. It's you take it. You do whatever you want with it. It's, it's all your money. And in a lot of scenarios, that's not even taxable. That's your $50,000. You can do whatever you want with that. Would you forget that day?
Oh, no.
For the rest of your life, could you ever forget that moment?
I still remember the day I found $10 on the floor. It was a great day.
I found a $20 bill at Schlitterbahn one time, and I'll never forget. $50,000 of money that family would not have had. As a matter of fact, they would have been thrilled with their real estate agent. $50,000 less, they would have been ecstatic and really, really happy.
Yeah, you wake up tomorrow morning and there's an extra $50,000 in your bank account.
Yeah, college, vehicle, retirement, debt reduction, travel, investment. Those are real dollars. And it gets me fired up because we get to do this every day, right? And I hope I don't ever come across as arrogant or cocky, but I brag on our team because it's way more than Todd Tramonte. It's more than me. But when I say Todd Tramonte home selling team, that means Mason, Ian, David, Ryan, Mari, Leah, Brandon, Jeremy, John, Eli, Dana. It's not a ton of agents, but we have a support staff person for almost every agent. It's about 5 or 6 agents. We've got a couple in training now, delivering world-class value. Not arguing and fighting over commissions and rookie of the year and platinum club and diamond. We don't care about that stuff. We high five and celebrate about huge client success stories. Yes, those do lead to our agents making a great living and things like that. But when a client gets more, saves more, gets to move in early, gets a free lease back, has an incredible life value experience, then we get to go have ice cream with them and go to a ball game with them, and it becomes these lifelong friendships. That's what it's about for us. If we can help you at the Todd Tramonte home selling team, if you would like to be one of those success stories, go to overunderagent.com. I don't care when you want to buy, sell, or invest. Let us know. We'll start the process of adding value now. Overunderagent.com. That's overunderagent.com. We'll be back next week with more Texas real estate right here on WBAP.